Hi everyone, it's John from What Up. Welcome back to another video. And today we're talking Wheel of Time news. Yes, there is still stuff to report on. I've been away the last few weeks, but we're going to pick up with all the things that I missed, and then we're going to dive right into some book videos starting in the next couple of days. I have a ton of material coming, and I, for one, am pretty happy to do it. So if you love the Wheel of Time as much as I do, if you're excited about the prospect of all the new Wheel of Time projects that are coming out in the next few months and years, if you just want to keep up with all of the Wheel of Time news, or if you want to join us for book reviews, other adaptation news, as well as just nerdy stuff, consider making us your home for all of those things. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and of course, folks, tell all your friends. So we're going to talk about a couple of different things today. We're going to talk about the Save Watt campaign, just to briefly touch on it just a bit. It is still going on. We're going to talk a bit about the Emmys and what happened with Wheel of Time and Rings of Power. Something that I'm blown away at. It just boggles my mind, but I think there's a pretty simple explanation for what happened. And then we're going to talk just a bit about WotCon, which is a Wheel of Time convention that just happened not long ago. It happened between July 11th and 12th. We'll talk just a bit about that, their special guests, what happened at the convention, and where you can go to pick up tickets for next year, including virtual tickets. So we're going to cover all of that in today's video. We're going to dive right into the Save Wheel of Time campaign, though. It is still going on. So SaveWatt.com is where the campaign is. They are asking for anyone and everyone who loved the Wheel of Time show to go there and sign a petition, send letters. There's letter writing campaigns, social media posts, make videos, things of that nature. Basically things that are low or zero cost to you is what they really want people to do. They have done some big things, and we've reported on it here on the channel. They had a flyover of Amazon Studios in Culver City. They had a bunch of billboards, and they still continue to have a bunch of billboards all over the world. There's campaigns going on in Brazil, Australia, in Europe, as well as in the States. You name it, and fans are campaigning to bring the show back. This is and has been a more successful campaign than most campaigns that have been out there to revive canceled shows, and it's already well surpassed the number of signatures on a petition that The Expanse had before Amazon picked it up after Sci-Fi canceled the show. So there's always hope that this will turn out in the positive. And like I said, I'm usually a positive person, so I'm hoping that this does do something. However, I can tell you folks that from what I'm hearing from my sources behind the scenes is there has been no movement on this at all. Not really. There's been some discussion, some talk, but nothing that has been at least related to me so far that has constituted what I would consider breaking news that we have to be excited about. I am still holding out hope, though, so let's just keep doing what we do, talk about the show. If you folks love the show and you want it back, keep bringing it up. If those of you who don't love the show but you love the books will always be there. We can always reread the books over and over again, and I will be starting on book content probably starting tomorrow. I'm going to begin with the why you should read the Wheel of Time video. Everyone does them, but I'm going to do it specifically for those folks out there who have never read it before and probably watched the show and loved the show but haven't read the books yet. And there are a lot of people out there like that. So now we're going to dive into the Emmys. So the Emmys are kind of a weird thing. It's a huge honor to be nominated for an Emmy, and it's an even bigger honor to win one. And companies, usually streaming companies, studios, they usually put fairly substantial time and money in behind Emmy campaigns to push for some of their shows to be nominated, to have them out in the forefront so people see what's going on with them. That didn't happen with Wheel of Time this year at all. It was kind of wild, actually. So there was some, and we're going to go with the official line here from Amazon, confusion and clerical errors that led to them not submitting music to be considered for Emmys this year. I, for one, personally don't believe that for a hot minute. I don't at all. But they said, yeah, they messed up the paperwork, so Hills of Tanchico did not get submitted to be considered for an Emmy nod, and it 100% should have been, in my opinion. If you see the third season, that was one of the high points. And I mean, it isn't the highest point of the season, but it was fun. It was catchy. In my opinion, the song is right up there with Toss a Coin to Your Witcher as far as being memorable. And it definitely should have, at the very least, been pushed and submitted for a nomination, and it wasn't. there was no campaign, not really. There was a for your consideration that came out from a few of the cast members and the showrunners and whatnot, but it wasn't a campaign that you're used to seeing from other major shows. And I think I know why, and I think it's pretty obvious. So we have a canceled show at Amazon that did remarkably better than they expected. Or we shouldn't say canceled, because I don't think anyone has come out and said that the show is canceled and shut off. It's just not being picked up for another season. So I think there's a little bit of a difference there. You have a show that they're no longer continuing with. You have 3 seasons that did well. First season broke many, many records, and the second season didn't do so well. And the third season, again, brought those numbers back up and was much better received in the second season by a lot of fans. And did really, really well. And there was a lot of buzz that this would be the season that we would get nominations, that we would get awards. Didn't happen. Amazon's not going to push and put money behind a show that they are not going to pick up and continue on with to get Emmys, because yes, while it is a sort of a flex to get an Emmy for one of your shows, or to push shows to get Emmys, or even get nominations, if you're not continuing with that show, it makes absolute zero sense to put money, time, and effort in behind trying to get it nominated when you don't care about the show anymore. And that has been shown by the fact that Amazon has not picked it up for a 4th season, and we haven't heard anything about it being moved somewhere else. So why would they do that? Why would they go and try to get this show awards when it came down to the fact that this could possibly be picked up elsewhere? It just doesn't make any sense. Rings of Power, however, was nominated for VFX. It's no secret that I've talked about here on the channel a number of times. I'm not a big fan of the Rings of Power. And it's not for any other reason than I don't believe it's a good show. I don't know any of the lore. I don't know how things are supposed to work. I don't know how things... From just a show perspective, I found it not for me, is the best way to put it. I am happy that people enjoy it. I'm happy that there is a fan base out there that really does like the Rings of Power and really pushes and guns for it. And for this Emmy nod, I'm happy for those people to be able to cheer and celebrate this. But it's for VFX, and personally, watching the second season of Rings of Power and then comparing it to Wheel of Time, which I'm going to do because they're 2 big fantasy shows, I think the Wheel of Time probably did better in the VFX department than Rings of Power. But what blows my mind, what didn't happen, is costuming did not get nominated or pushed or even talked about, really, for Emmys. But Ahsoka and Echo got nominated. Both great shows in their own right. Both had very good costumes, but not to the level, in my opinion, that Wheel of Time had. So I think it goes to show that Amazon has really, really doubled down on the fact that they're pushing Rings of Power, because they did a campaign to try to get things nominated for Rings of Power, because they want to showcase the fact that their big flagship fantasy show is at least nominated for awards, and they haven't done that with Wheel of Time, because they've kind of dropped the show. That makes sense to them. They've spent over $1 billion in Rings of Power, and it's not pulling in the numbers that even the Wheel of Time really did in some instances. Some cases it did better, but in a lot of instances, at least the money spent versus minutes watched is better with Wheel of Time. So they're going to try to push this in any way they can. And now we have a ton of ads out there right now with their Emmy nods. They have Emily in Paris, a few other Prime shows, and Rings of Power is at the forefront of that. They're really, really pushing Rings of Power. It's what they want to focus on, which is why I'm not totally shocked that Wheel of Time kind of got left to the wayside. And speaking of costumes, and why I believe absolutely Sharon Gillam, the costume designer, and her team 100% should have been nominated. Not just nominated, but won awards for season 3. It's because they were gorgeous. They were beautiful. The show itself, aesthetically, was just beyond my wildest dreams, and I think the fandom's wildest dreams when it came to the costuming. And Sharon Gillam actually did make it to WotCon. So if you don't know what WotCon is, it's a Wheel of Time convention that happens in July in Columbus, Ohio, July 10th to 12th this year. It focuses on both the books and the show, and it's like Jordan Con, only different. It was for fans by fans, and it specifically centers around just the Wheel of Time and the Wheel of Time show. There was a heavy emphasis on the show for WotCon. Probably go back towards books a little bit more now, I would say, since the show is no longer happening. But WotCon is a big deal, and this year they had a few different people. They had Maria Simmons, they had Michael and Kate reading the audiobook orators that showed up, and they also had Sharon Gillam, the costume designer, there, and she brought a number of the costumes. and they were on display. So when she did her panel, they were there, and people got to look at them and see them in all their glory. And just taking a look at these shots here, folks, seeing these costumes in person must have been wild. But how they didn't get nominated at the very least blows my mind. The intricacies in them, the time and effort put in them. Say that Ahsoka and Echo didn't do well in their costumes too. I just think these are like on a completely different level than certain other shows that did get nods. So Sharon Gillam was there, and Kate Reading, like I said, Michael Kramer and Maria Simmons were there. There's a picture of a ton of folks there. These pictures are all courtesy of Omar from WotSeries.com. They can be found on the Watt TV Series Facebook group. He posted them there. So I'm going to leave links down below to a bunch of different stuff. The Save Watt campaign. I'll leave links down below to the WotCon site, so you guys can go check that out. And if you guys want to go check out Watt TV Series, I've left a link to their website down below too. You can look them up on Facebook as well. But really neat stuff, and it was, from what I've heard, a very, very good time for all of the fans that did go. And I'm sorry that, again, I missed another convention this year. Perhaps next year I'll be able to make some of these conventions. JordanCon is my dream to go to at least once, so I'm hoping it'll be next year. So that's the Wheel of Time news that we have for you folks right now. And again, I've left links to all those things down below. One of the things I do want to say about this is the Save Watt campaign. If you folks go over there and you haven't already signed the petition or wrote a letter or done social media posts or just the small things you can do, and you do like the show and you want to continue, it's an easy, no cost thing to do to help the campaign out. If you in or around the United States, I know not a ton of people are traveling to the U.S. from outside right now, but if you're in and around the U.S., Columbus, Ohio, WotCon is there. They will have another convention next year in July as well. You can go to their site. I'll left a link to it down below. If you folks want to check that out, you can take a look at some of the things they posted this year from this year's convention and past conventions. You can buy your tickets for next year. And they also have, which is interesting, a option for virtual tickets. So if you can't attend or you can't travel to the U.S. or don't want to travel to the U.S., you can still support the convention and still see a lot of the panels and do a lot of things. They are very well integrated. And it's pretty modern as far as conventions go, being able to get a virtual ticket and still take part in some of the festivities. That's pretty cool. So again, I said this for the first video, as I've been gone for the last couple of weeks. It's been a bit. We'll say that. For those of you who've been around the channel for a while, you know why I'm posting intermittently, what's going on, why I missed the conventions and stuff this year. For those of you who don't know, we do have an illness in the family, and we're working through that right now. But I will say that I have sat down in the last couple of days and recorded a number of videos. I've gotten the gumption up, and I've kind of gotten the bug again, and I want to do some things. This is fun for me, and I enjoy making videos. So I did another adaptation news video. We're talking about the Bleach adaptation, Legend of Zelda. They actually did some castings for that. You'll see that in the next day or two. I did a Why You Should Read the Wheel of Time video. I started doing videos for my Patreon. Again, they're not going to be up for a bit yet, but it's going to be a read-along of the series, broken down for X number of chapters per read-along, and then a full synopsis of each book and things that you should watch out for in each book. It'll be both spoiler and spoiler-free, those videos. They're going to come out Patreon first, and then as I finish each book and start posting the second book, those parts will port themselves over to here in the channel. The reason I'm doing that is because a number of you have supported me on Patreon over the years, and I really do appreciate that, but I've done almost nothing with it. I've been very honest about that. I haven't really posted much on Patreon other than sending out some merch to folks who join. That's going to change. I'm going to change a few things on my Patreon in the next few weeks or so, and you will start seeing book content over there. It'll drop there first. The read-along will drop there, and then it'll port to here. So if you don't want to support on Patreon, or if you can't, don't worry about that. It will be here in my channel after the fact. You're talking probably maybe a few weeks or a month behind, depending on how quickly I read the books and put videos together as far as the read-along goes. But they will be here in the main channel. I'll be doing a breakdown of each and every book and a summary as well. Those of you who have read the series before but don't really want to go through a chapter breakdown with me, if you're a new reader, it's going to be a whole lot of fun to follow along with. There's going to be a section each of those videos for new readers where there's no spoilers and we talk about what happened. There'll be a section each one of these videos after that's done. Full spoilers, the entire series, talk about that part of the book in context to the entire series, which I like doing a bit more. I know the spoiler-free stuff is more advantageous to people who haven't read the books, but I tend to drop spoilers by accident, so I like big spoilers. So yeah, you're going to see that coming soon. I've just kind of gotten the bug again, and I've made a bunch of videos the last couple of days, so you're going to see those in the next little bit. Probably a video every couple of days here on the channel when it comes to book stuff, and I still will be reporting on the show. I will still keep you guys up to date if there's any movement of the Save Watt campaign or hear anything behind the scenes from my sources over at Sony or at Amazon or within the Wheel of Time world. I 100% will keep you folks up to date to that. So there's that. Anyway, thank you all very much for sticking with us here at the very end. Here's to many more, folks.